Hi, I'm Mandy, and today I'm going to give you 5 pros and 5 cons of being a campground host in a state forest. I am at Tillis Equestrian Campground in the teeny tiny city of Inverness in western Florida. My time here is almost over, so I thought this was a good opportunity to tell you a little bit about my experience.
Oh my gosh, excuse me, ma'am. I need this shower. You look so comfy. Okay, you can have the shower. See you later.
The first con is that here it is far from town. It is so far that I have only left one time in the past 4 weeks to go into any town. The closest real town, which is still really small, is about 30 minutes each way.
I just got to Aldi's. For obvious reasons, I am not ready to go in yet. I never thought that going to a grocery store would be such a luxury.
And I stay really busy, and it's really hard to find an hour in just drive time, not to mention the time that it takes you to do the errands that you have to do. So my errands are piling up. Like, it's been a while since I've run any errands. I just purchased another grocery subscription for grocery deliveries from Walmart, and I wasn't going to do that, but here I was I was way too hungry and way too cranky all the time because getting groceries consistently was just really challenging for me. So I went ahead and purchased another annual subscription, and now I just get my groceries delivered, and that's easy because unless I'm going on a really awesome adventure, I just don't like to drive. So being out in the middle of nowhere has been a little bit of a challenge for me personally. Also, I'm someone that likes to at least to moderately be part of the community, and being out in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard to do that. I really haven't found a way yet to become part of this community, and I feel like if I'm gonna stay still for even a few weeks, I would like to integrate at least a little bit, but I haven't been able to do that here. And again, it's just the time that it takes to get anywhere. The second con is the weather and the bugs. Basically, all the elements of the outdoors. The weather has been quite challenging. I know I've mentioned this multiple times, but it rains and it rains and it pours and it pours some more, and it just very seldom is there a dry day right now. And when it is dry, it is exceptionally hot. And with the rain and with the humidity and with the heat, there's bugs. There's so many bugs. And between getting bitten and having bugs creepy crawl to the inside of my adventure vehicle, the bugs have been a challenge.
It appears that a moth has woven a cocoon into the insulation on my ceiling.
The weather has been pretty intense, and you really have to work rain or shine. So if it's 100 degrees and you can just feel your skin melting, you have to go out and take care of the campground. There's a lot of grass for the horses right now. 4 horses are checking in tomorrow. So going to fill these water tanks tonight so they're ready for the horses. And if it's raining, you still have to take care of the campground. It's getting me so... Stop that! Oh my goodness. Gonna drive from the passenger side. Okay, I gotta check site 10. Woo! This is the most amount of time I have ever spent outdoors. Like, you probably can't tell, but this is the tannest I have ever been. And I was laughing to myself last night, thinking if I ever created a line of cosmetics that was like actually my skin tone, I would just call it Ghost. Like, Ghost by Mandy. But, like, I am super brown. And that's a little bit hard for me because I do try to be cautious with the sun. Con number 3 is the cellular service. It is actually not bad here. Outside, I can usually get 5G with at least 1 bar on my cell phone. And the second I go inside and shut the doors and the windows and put the blinds up, it goes to 4Gs with 0 bars. And it is impossible to do anything. The internet, it just spins and spins and spins. I get absolutely nowhere. And while I'm trying to work, I sit and I have to roll down the windows and hold my arm out the window and try to pick up on any kind of good signal. But we are pretty far from the cell towers, and while this is better reception than at most places I have been, it has not been easy to have almost every call drop and to be right in the middle of work, and then for you to just lose all your bars and then have to completely stop. Especially like if you're in a rhythm and it's just like, come on. But here you don't have the at-home wiring, like you're not gonna get an in-wall unit, so to have that really speedy internet, like I've been so long without speedy internet that I don't even know what that's like anymore. I would say one tip, and I have a video about this too, but it is a cell phone signal booster. It is a lifesaver. I've only had mine for about a week, but it has made all the difference in my happiness and my ability to get things done. I like to go to sleep listening to podcasts, and it is impossible to do without a cell phone signal booster because there's no reception inside. Con number 4 is there really is no guarantee for like a solid 24 hours off unless you completely pack up and leave the campground. As long as you are parked here, there is a possibility and a very high likelihood that someone is going to come and knock on your door, or in my case, ring the doorbell. Hi, Matt. But because you're here and you're behind a sign that says Campground Host, it doesn't matter what time it is. We get campers that can't find their reservation confirmation email, so they don't have the gate code. And our gate is locked 24 hours, so you have to have a code to get in for safety. So while you're here, you're deemed available for questions or help or any kind of assistance that a camper might need. So while the hours are relatively flexible, you do not have any kind of guarantee for a day off or any consecutive amount of time without someone needing your assistance.
Excuse me, sir. Are you in need of assistance?
Con number 5, the very last con, looping back around to the pros of the free site. It is generally asked that you volunteer. Campground hosts are volunteers around 24 hours per week in exchange for your site with electric hookups. This might be different for someone else, but for me, I am a veteran and I get a 50% discount when I'm here in the campground as a camper. And the normal rate is $30 a night. And so my rate is $15 a night. When you do the math of $15 a night for the campground and 24 hours a week, it comes out to around $5 an hour if you do the minimum of 24 hours. And that would basically be an even exchange of about working 3 hours a day at $5 an hour. So if you work 3 hours a day at $5 an hour, you would cover the cost of your campsite for the night. However, I've noticed that even when the campground is pretty empty, it is really hard to only work 3 hours a day or to even only work 24 hours a week. Okay, everything is wet. That was something that it took me a while to get on board with. I love volunteering. I am not opposed to volunteering, but it's a lot of time and energy and resources and late nights and very early mornings. And the exchange is just, it's very small. It's very small. So that's my experience. My pros and cons of being a campground host at a state forest in the state of Florida.